Ready. Hey, I'm Spenser.
And I'm Britton.
Since 2011, Buckethead has released 303 albums?
Are you kidding me?
Wait, what are we at?
303? He was at 303 like a year ago, Spenser.
Where are we at?
I'm gonna make you look this up. Are you serious?
I don't remember.
Like, I think last episode it was 313. So,
okay, I'm looking it up. Leave this in. Wait. Hold on. Wikipedia. Okay. Here we go. Like series. Oh my god. Wow, there's so many. Wait, 321?
21 now? Did he release one today?
It says July 9th.
Yeah, today. Holy shit. So yeah, I had 315 here because I didn't check today. I checked last night when I was finishing my research for this episode. So he released one today, so it's going to be 316 now.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
Holy shit.
Wow,
I didn't know he released one today. He must have
crazy.
released it like within the last couple hours. That's nuts.
Bucket news.
Yeah, right? Holy shit. How felicitous.
Well, look at that. We're extra accurate because I'm stupid. So How nice is that?
And since this is coming out tomorrow, unless he releases another one today, it's going to be our most accurate episode ever.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Since 2011, Buckethead has released 316 albums in his Pikes series.
And we're going to listen to them.
3 at a time. This is Getting Head.
Bucket. Oh, I camped way too long on that bong hit, dude, while doing the Bucketcast thing. Shit. 1 sec.
Yeah, you did.
God, it tastes terrible.
Yeah, you gotta leave this in. This is great stuff. Great Bongcasting.
I washed it down with like the most lukewarm coffee from 2 hours ago. Oh, that was an entirely unpleasant experience. Ugh.
Yeah, I've got some
welcome, followers, wallowers, and swallowers, ballas, shot collars, and manufacturers of shock collars, road scholars, height fallers, and filthy Tom Lawler, Darth Maulers, DJ Quallers, car stallers, and howdy y'allers. Skin crawlers, freight haulers, give-allers, and biggie smallers. Let's get it done. Let's have some fun. Let's kick some ass. It's episode 91 of Gettin' Head, a Bucketcast.
Oh my god. Wow, look at that. We're here 91? Mm-hmm. That is a lot of episodes. It's also a lot of numbers. It's 91 numbers. Mm-hmm. It's the international direct dial for phone calls to India.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So in the sense of a US dollar, 91 cents is the amount of money one has if one has one each of the coins of denominations less than $1. So a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter, and a $half. How interesting is that?
Not at all. No one needed to know that.
I would say it's r/mildly interesting.
Yeah, at best.
You know?
Like who carries a $half anymore? Like when was the last time you saw a $half, Spenser?
I saw a $half when I was working at a cafe. There was like weird old men that would come in and pay with $half.
So only weird old men have $half, dollar coins, and $2 bills.
Yeah, $2
or like if you go to strip clubs in Portland, you got $2 bills as well.
Oh, interesting. You told me that a long time ago.
Yeah. A lot of strip clubs in Portland have had the genius idea of having like ATMs that only cash out in $2 bills, and so you have to tip at least $2 to the strippers, basically. Which is fucking awesome.
a genius idea.
It is. It is
amazing.
Marvelously genius. Like whoever thought of that, fucking deserves all the money they made from that idea.
Hell yeah.
Not really. That's shitty capitalism, but whatever. At least strippers are getting paid, and we love strippers getting paid.
Yeah, we do. Hell yeah. They deserve it. So it's time for the information you've been waiting for specifically. Are you ready?
Yeah. What?
Are you ready for this? All right. Okay. So 91 is the ISBN group identifier for books published in Sweden.
Sweden. ISBN. Oh, God. We fucking love the ISBN. That gives me power every week. Thank you for that.
It makes me really happy. I don't know. I like talking about the ISBN. I like the Dewey. That's related to the Dewey Decimal System, right?
It's not. No,
sort of.
it's not
No,
because
it's not.
Dewey Decimal is book categorization by like theme and topic, and then by author. So it's a lot more of not a logical system, but it's not a geography system. It's all part of the larger book classification sorting system for sure.
So they're both book things.
Both book things for sure.
There we go. That's the connection I was looking for.
But they're both things like librarians really care about, and pretty much nobody else.
I saw this like screenshot going around where it was like somebody being like, I'm a librarian and I saw someone moving the dinosaur books to the fiction section, and I said, thank you for doing what I can't. And then it was like a screenshot of somebody responding to this being like, I'm a librarian and I can't imagine a librarian not slapping a person trying to do that.
Yeah, right. It's like you're miscategorized. Like literally they belong in one place. They have a number that tells them where it should go. It's not a fucking bookstore where they just like, what category should this be in? Well, self-help. It's a guy talk. It's either memoir or self-help. Like it's not like that. It's a fucking
Those are
library.
The only two categories sold in bookstores: memoir and self-help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's right. I mean, those are the only kinds of books I read.
Oh, cool. Those are cool books.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I read a self-help book once. It was like written by this dude who was like a Marine or whatever, and he's like, the power of like your brain or something. I was pretty young when I read it, and I was like, this seems okay, I guess. It was basically the whole gist of it was like, hey, if you like use discipline and like focus on things, you could probably get a lot done. Yeah, and be a more productive person. True.
I mean, like, and that's the thing is like, all those books are just like long diatribes on some very simple concepts. Like basically all of self-help is like, like get better at something, have discipline, and like, will yourself to be better at things and your life will be better. And that's
true.
Yeah, generally. It's totally true, but it's like, you don't need, a whole genre of books about that. Like
That's true. I feel like there are too many, definitely too many. And then you get into like the lifestyle sort of stuff where you get like the Eckhart Tolle and those kind of motherfuckers where they're like,
where it's like
buy into my entire like
kind of,
lifestyle philosophy sort of thing.
But it's all the same shit. They're all saying the same shit.
Definitely. It's like, be true to yourself. Like,
So just some of it is like Christian flavored, some of it's like bigoted flavored. There's different flavors of that shit, but it's all kind of the same thing.
That's true. Speaking of kind of the same thing, what's up with you?
Not much, hanging out, working, fucking doing content and stuff.
Yeah, dude, you're busy.
Sucking, long haul trucking. The big three. My big three.
Those are the big three.
My big three. Yeah.
Yeah, for you specifically. I've been doing a lot of things over the past week. I'm in an apartment now, as you can see.
Yeah.
I have a corporate apartment. How fancy is that?
Apartment. I don't like anything corporate, so fuck your apartment, Spenser.
Yeah, true that.
You fucking capitalist, fucking stooge apartment.
Definitely. It is like a weirdly huge apartment, though. Like, it's really big. Like, you can probably hear the echo in this room, but it is like a very large room, and then there's two other rooms. It's big.
Well, if you can hear the echo, maybe you should turn off your Sega Genesis. You know what I mean? Because you're playing Ecco the Dolphin. That's my joke.
Wow, that was a good joke. Hey, speaking of Ecco the Dolphin, man, oh man, have you watched like playthroughs of that game? That game is bullshit.
It's weird.
and it's hard
yeah.
as fucking shit.
It doesn't. Well, the thing is, it doesn't give you like any hints about anything.
No, and it's like these very large, very like complicated maze-like maps, and everything looks the same, and so it's like really hard to find the shit. I don't know.
I mean, they were like, hey, you know how everyone hates the underwater level in a video game? Let's just make that the whole fucking game.
Oh, obviously,
like,
$1 million idea.
Why
right
would
there.
you know? That's a $10 idea. Like,
you really think somebody would pay $10 for that?
Maybe a $10 gift card that they have left over or something.
Yeah, to Arby's.
Yeah, an Arby's gift card. Yeah.
Yeah, we love an Arby's gift card. I went to San Francisco the other day.
Yeah.
Have you been to San Francisco?
San Francisco, more like it. Yeah, I've been several times. Last time I went, my brother was doing a conference there, and I bought like the worst weed I've ever bought in my life in Haight-Ashbury. Worst weed ever. It was
when was that? Was that like pre-legalization?
Yeah, it's before. Well, yeah. It was actually. Well, no. I think it was. I don't know. I think it was pre-legalization. Yeah, it was like 4 years ago or something like that. So it was like the year they legalized it, I think. But I don't think they had any like infrastructure for legal weed at that point. So.
Damn. You hate buying bad weed. The worst weed I've ever bought in my life was like, it was in Anchorage, Alaska, and I was like a teenager. I was probably like 19 or something.
Yeah.
And like you know when like in Anchorage, Alaska, in say 2006 or 2007, and you were like trying to find weed, you just like knew a guy who maybe knew a guy, or like sometimes you knew the guy that was selling the weed, but like sometimes that guy didn't have weed, so you had to like find somebody else. It was like the whole thing.
Didn't like Brian Harris have a cousin who was a real piece of shit who always sold the shittiest weed?
I don't remember that.
There's someone who had a cousin, and their cousin Kenny was a real piece of shit. You don't remember Kenny and his shitty
No, I don't
weed?
remember
I think you bought weed from him with me like before, and it was like,
bro, I bought weed from like half of Alaska.
Yeah, half of Alaska sells weed, which is the weird thing.
It is a weird thing. But I remember like one day I like everybody I knew that was like a hookup for weed didn't have weed, and so like
it was dry so often, man.
It was so dry, and like my friend and I were like calling everybody on our phone trying to find some weed. We finally found somebody who was like, yeah, I can find you some weed, but you got to pick me up and you got to smoke some of it with me. We were like, fine. So we go and pick up this dude. He takes us to this house, bunch of shady dudes, sells me for $40 the shittiest, smallest bag of shake I have ever seen in my life.
I think we're thinking about the exact same thing. I think we're thinking about the same instance, because this is. I'm pretty sure you were there with me, and it was this guy named Kenny, who I think was Brian's cousin or something, and it was like the shittiest fucking weed we'd ever gotten, and it was like, it was not only just shitty weed, but it was only like 2.2 grams or something like that.
Shake. It was pure shake.
Yeah,
Like,
I recall that. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the exact same instance, Spencer.
I don't remember you being there, but it is entirely possible. But yeah, you hate a shitty sack of weed. Anyway, speaking of shitty sacks of weed and also shitty things, I went to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'd never been to, well, okay, that's not true. I've been to San Francisco before, but years ago, like literally like 15, 20 years ago, like long time ago.
Okay.
So I go to San Francisco just to check it out. I went to the Golden Gate Bridge.
Golden Gate Bridge is cool. Did you go to Golden Gate Park? Because that's one of the best
did.
parts of San Francisco. That's a great
I did.
park.
Yeah, Golden Gate Park was really cool.
It's beautiful.
Down sort of by Golden Gate Park, if you like go past it towards the water, there's like a beach down there and everything. I went down there. It was pretty cool. And then I went to go to this restaurant that was recommended to me by some friends on Instagram. Thank you so much. Called Gracias Madre. It's like a fancy vegan Mexican restaurant. What?
Thank you, Mother.
Yes, thank you, Mother. Yes.
Thanks, Ma.
Thanks, Ma. Yeah, so I went there and the food was really good. Like the restaurant was cool, but it was in a place called the Mission District.
Oh, yeah. Mission District.
That fucking place looked like goddamn Fallout 3. It was insane. Like walking around there was just like human shit everywhere. Like all the buildings looked all fucked up.
So it
and
looked
crazy.
like Philadelphia is what you're saying.
Bro, it was insane. Like I was walking around there and I was like, the fuck happened here? Like this place is crazy. Like, oh my God. And then it's just like, like there's like no signage for like any business on the street that I was on, and so like I walk there and I like walk past the like restaurant I was trying to go to because it didn't look like anything. It just like another fucked up storefront. But then like I found the place I was looking for. I go in there and then it's like all fancy and nice inside, and like food is expensive and everything. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. What a strange place.
Yeah, because even in the shitty parts of San Francisco, shit's still fucking expensive.
Yeah,
like
San Francisco's pretty expensive.
San Francisco's fucked. Like with the zoning laws, they have fucked themselves because they've had these super restrictive zoning laws forever that don't really allow for like big apartment buildings in so much of the city. And so you just have like the biggest they're allowed to do is like duplexes and shit like that. And so you don't have more efficient living, and like property's very scarce. You can only build out so far because it hits the sea at some point.
Yeah, it's actually like a weirdly small place. Like the city is only like 7 miles like end to end.
Yeah, the
like
Bay
that.
Area is fucking huge though.
Yeah,
like,
Bay is huge.
Yeah. I mean, if you count, like San Francisco in the Bay Area, like Chicago, it's like one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the world.
Oh no, definitely. And what's weird is that San Francisco proper, like the actual city itself, is the second most people per like square mile in the United States, right below New York.
Wow.
So it goes like New York City and then San Francisco as the most dense cities.
If they were allowed to have higher efficiency buildings, like more apartment buildings, they would be probably the most dense city in the world. Like if people could actually afford to live there, like everyone would live in San Francisco because it doesn't have shitty weather like New York.
I don't know. The weather in San Francisco was kind of shitty when I was there.
It can be shitty. Apparently, like, some of the summers, especially like in the morning in San Francisco, it's like fucking cold and cloudy and shit.
The weather down here in the Bay Area has been really, really weird. It's like, it's actually really, really nice where I'm at. So I'm in Santa Clara now. Okay. And in Santa Clara, the weather is great. Like every day it's like between 70 and 80 degrees. Like it's like a dry heat though. So like at night it cools down.
Or is it still on the coast?
So it's inland. It's
okay, that makes sense. Is it past the mountains or is still?
Yes, so it's inland. It's past the mountains. It is west of San Jose and east of like Redwood City, like Daly City, like south of San Francisco.
Okay,
so on the inner South Bay. But yeah, the weather down here is fantastic. But like the weather varies pretty significantly. Like I drove to Santa Cruz the other day, which is like on the coast, and Santa Cruz was like kind of cold. And then San Francisco was freezing. Like I was wearing like a full ass like jacket and shit when I was in San Francisco. And that was just like during the day. It was San Francisco, weirdly enough, like it'll be like 80 degrees here and it'll be like 59 in San Francisco.
That's so weird.
That's super weird.
Mark Twain once said the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. Which I think is a pretty sick quote.
That is a pretty sick quote. I like that.
Yeah, Mark Twain was a very quotable fella.
Speaking of Mark Twain, I think it might be time for goth news.
Yeah, seersucker suits are so goth, dude.
Beneath the weeping moon, it's goth news. Goth news, goth news, cool news.
Finally, some real hopeful goth news.
Into it.
This week, a TikToker and streamer named @Gutnot went viral for a video and a series of photos, one in which she is dressed in full goth regalia and driving a John Deere tractor.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I saw this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and one in which she is similarly dressed driving a forklift.
Oh, I haven't seen the forklift video.
It's pretty good. It's just a picture, actually, I think. It might be a video, but I don't go on TikTok. I just seen the pictures.
Yeah, tractor goth is popping off now.
Oh, yeah. There's really nothing more to this story. We just love to see a goth girl in demonia boots that is forklift certified.
Yeah,
that's some real hot girl shit right there.
That's some goth news.
Like
that's valid.
Even Abby from NCIS, I don't think she's forklift certified.
I don't think so either.
Which is crazy. Like,
she'd be a lot cooler if she was.
Probably, yeah. This week in goth obituaries, Takahashi Kazuo, creator of manga and card game Yu-Gi-Oh, was found dead this week.
Damn.
Takahashi's
R.I.P..
body was found off the shore of Okinawa by a Japanese Coast Guard boat responding to the hails of another boat, saying they saw a body.
Damn.
Having been dead for several days in an apparent snorkeling accident, his body was found already partially scavenged. The death is still being investigated, but regardless, we pay homage to a trailblazer in the world of card games and manga, both of which are totally goth as fuck.
Sure, yeah.
Rest in peace, Takahashi. Most importantly, stay dead, brother.
Hell yeah.
And finally, in goth news, this week, goth and pizza patriarch Papa John Schnatter continues to try to be a business influencer by posting several videos online about his views on entrepreneurship.
Oh, I bet he's got great views.
Oh, yeah. He included one that said, quote, when somebody tells you you're asking too many questions, or somebody tells you you're asking a dumb question, that's when you know you're on to something. That's when you know you're asking the right questions.
So when you so
When
so
someone's-
you could
yeah.
go to one of his, like, does he do like public speaking events?
Not
Do you know?
really. He's on podcasts and stuff. I mean, he does. Yeah, he does do public speaking events to, like, high schools and stuff. I don't know if he does Q&As and stuff.
Let's say he did do a Q&A
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, hey man, like, you know, what's your foot care routine, brah? Like, how you take care of them dogs?
Can I see
Like,
them feet? Can I see them feet?
Like,
and he's
like-
like, I don't like that question. Be like, that's how you know I'm asking the right questions.
Exactly.
I'm on to something. You said so. You
According
say.
to you,
Yeah.
like, these are the right questions to ask
Yeah,
because
another good example of a dumb question someone might ask Tim would be, or he might ask, why are you trying to remove me as the CEO of a company after I caused our stock to fall 30% and I said the N-word at a public sales meeting? It'd be, you know, because
asking the right questions.
is it a dumb question? Schnatter stepped down as CEO of Papa John's in 2018 after he blamed declining sales on football players protesting the treatment of black people in America, causing their stock to fall 30%. Then he used the N-word during a conference call.
Goth news for cool dudes.
Oh, yeah, brother.
I don't know. Do we got anything for a middle section here? What's going on? Oh, we haven't Patreon update.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nothing really new is going on the Patreon. Spencer is still like getting settled in and stuff. So sorry we haven't been able to do anything extra or anything lately. I'm looking into maybe getting like some T-shirts done for our $5 subscribers. So
That would be
they deserve
nice.
it at this point. Yeah. Speaking of our $5 subscribers, thank you very much to Dan Morrison, Dylan Lance, Ian Killia,
Hell yeah.
and Devon Saturnus.
Hell yeah.
A new
Love to see
person up in the $5 tier. Thanks for everything.
That's one of the people that recommended that restaurant to me.
Nice.
And
They
it
live in New York.
it was really
Upper New
good.
York.
It was very, very good. I liked that burrito quite a bit.
We love a good burrito. You know what I've been doing lately is I've been perfecting a falafel recipe.
Oh, do tell. You
Yeah.
made me a falafel.
I have.
Before, I
this
believe.
is far beyond what I've ever made before. I think I have come up with, in my opinion, one of the perfect falafel recipes. It's as close as I have ever tasted and texturally to. Do you remember Aladdin's in Alaska, the
I
Lebanese
do.
restaurant? Their falafel was my favorite falafel ever because it was like very crispy on the outside, but almost doughy on the middle.
So like spongy, kind of.
Not spongy, almost like doughy. Like
Interesting.
almost like it was very soft and easy to bite into. It was almost like a falafel ball like crust filled with like really well seasoned hummus.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it was like super like mashed up on the inside and like not doughy but like soft,
Yeah.
almost raw but still hot. It's delicious.
Nice.
But I have a deep fryer, which is a big part of it. Like
Oh, that's
deep
a
frying
huge part.
falafel.
You gotta deep fry that shit.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
gotta.
even pan frying it, even like deep frying it in a pan, isn't quite the same.
No, it's not the
'cause-
same. You gotta have a real fryer.
Yeah, like the falafel balls will like cook and like rise to the top at a certain point. If you cook it like I cook it, which is with you got to use some flour, but the big secret is using flour with baking powder.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Baking powder takes it to the next level. It makes it super crunchy on the outside, and it makes a crunchy protective layer so the inside doesn't overcook and the inside doesn't like explode. And so it's like it's almost like a fritter at that point, like a fucking falafel fritter. And next time you're around, I will make you some. It'll blow your dick out your asshole, Spenser.
I'm into that. You know,
blow your dick out of your asshole.
You made me a sandwich a long time ago that I think about actually fairly regularly.
Interesting. What was the sandwich?
This was a very long time ago. I want to say this was like 2018 probably.
Okay. That's not that long ago. 4 years.
Actually, you know what? It had to have been earlier than that because I was still vegetarian at the time. So it was probably like 2015 or 16. A really long time ago. Oh. Anyways, I was like at your house and you were like, hey, you want a meatball sub? And I was like, sure.
Yes.
And then you just like threw a bunch of shit in a blender, blended it up, and then fried the balls.
Yeah.
And then it was like mushrooms and like beer and like an
mushroom,
egg and like a bunch
beer,
of shit. Yeah.
I do remember that. So yeah, that
and
was.
And you just like threw it on a hoagie with like some marinara, and it was like it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like I was very stoned, but it still I think about that sandwich regularly.
Cool. I'll try to recreate that and give you the recipe because it's pretty basic. It's just like a mushroom-based falafel almost.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but yeah, that reminded me of that, and that was good. You have a history of these sorts of culinary experiments.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's and that's the thing is like, especially with deep frying. Like when I was a cook and a sous chef, that's the thing I love to do the most is just experiment with the deep fryer, and like having an actual like commercial deep fryer that you can put big things into.
Oh yeah,
because we had the ones where like some years we like fried turkeys and those things, and like so they were like huge.
Damn, that's really
like I think my favorite experiment I ever did was we had some leftover pizza, and so I made a batter. It was a cream batter, and put like a bunch of oregano, red pepper, like a bunch of stuff in there, and so like spiced it up like breadsticks basically, and I deep fried it. And then covered it with garlic butter. So it was like eating a deep fried piece of pizza with a giant breadstick crust.
Oh my God.
It was next fucking level. And everyone's like, we should like put this on the menu. I'm like, yeah. And my fucking boss was like, no, because he's a dick and an idiot. Didn't know a deep fried pizza that's a thing. People, it's novel,
you
but
like sell that at a fair. That's a fair
exactly.
Food right there.
I mean, at Whole Foods, it'd be like what?
No,
have what?
The thing is though, at Whole Foods, like Whole Foods has a lot of dumbass bullshit. Like
they do.
I was so one thing I'll say about Whole Foods is like I'm not a huge fan of Whole Foods, and like in Seattle, I would like actively avoid going there. However, down here, Whole Foods is like a different thing. Like
what do you mean?
Firstly, they're way bigger. Like they're way bigger, and they have a way bigger deli with way more options, which is interesting to me because like historically, at least at the Whole Foods in Seattle, like there are not a lot of vegan options. But down here, they are a lot, but it's all like dumbass shit. Like they have like deep fried vegan macaroni balls and shit.
That sounds good. It is like
good.
Super novel and like French fry vegan bullshit.
Yeah, no, it is good, but I'm thinking like I think a deep fried slice of pizza would fit in right with everything they're doing down here.
Probably. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you were just ahead of the curve, Brit.
Buckethead of the curve.
Speaking of which, we know.
What are you doing?
Listen to Three Pikes. Okay.
We did listen to Three Pikes this week, but speaking of Buckethead.
Oh yeah, can you hit us with a bucket fact?
I would love to hit us with a bucket fact.
Bucket fact, 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 bucket fact.
Today, and I never thought I'd say this on this podcast. This is weird. Today we're going to talk about the group Bastard Noise.
What?
You're familiar with Bastard Noise, yeah?
Yeah.
The noise group?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bastard Noise is a very influential noise band from California that started out as an offshoot of power violence pioneers Man is the Bastard.
Yep.
Whereas Man is the Bastard broke up in 1997, vocalist and bassist Eric Wood went on to pursue Bastard Sound as a full-time project from that point on. Now, Bastard Noise. I said Bastard Sound. Now, Bastard Noise did a split vinyl on which Buckethead is credited as appearing on every single Bastard Noise track.
What? I've
Right?
never heard of this. That's just crazy.
I didn't either. I was digging today into some like Buckethead shit, and like I don't think this is even on his Wikipedia, and like I just like found this and I was like, what?
I mean, that's tight.
So not a whole lot of information exists about it though, because Bastard Noise pretty famously like is very opposed to digital music and like piracy and downloading in general, and so he releases almost all of his projects just in physical format. And so in as much like basically all the information, and he doesn't do a lot of interviews, and he's never done an interview about Buckethead, and Buckethead's never talked about him.
Weird.
I know. And so there's not much information like publicly available about this at all. What I do know is it was released as a marble colored vinyl by Pinch a Loaf in 1998.
That's a great record label.
The whole first side, which is 5 tracks, is listed all under Bastard Noise, and Buckethead is listed as a contributor on all 5 of the tracks, and the artist on the album is Bastard Noise featuring Buckethead. I also listened to the whole thing today, and I can tell you it is entirely a noise album, and if Buckethead is actually playing an instrument any of the time, it's really heavily obscured and distorted by effects, and you just can't tell what's going on at all.
That's super weird.
Yeah, it actually sounds a good bit like maybe like a Death Cube K album mixed with some Merzbow, maybe. It's very noisy. And that is basically all I can tell you about the album. It exists. Buckethead guested on a Bastard Noise album, and it's fully a noise album, and I don't think Buckethead plays guitar at all. It definitely gives an insight into Buckethead's vision of noise music, and it is also, I think, the closest degree of separation Buckethead has to Merzbow, the only recording artist with more released albums than him, being that Merzbow routinely plays with Bastard Noise.
Wow.
And that's it.
That's pretty crazy. Like I had no idea that Buckethead actually had like connections to the real noise scene. Like
Absolutely,
I just thought that he was sort of interested in it, did his own thing, but no, he's a real legitimate noise artist. So
yeah, like
with connections to the scene.
Yeah, which is crazy to me.
I would love to see, well, not see, but hear a Merzbow collab.
That would be super interesting. I imagine it'd probably sound like this, like except noisier. Yeah, it's a interesting album. I'm not sure I'd recommend it unless you're really into noise. But if you're really into noise, really into like the Death Cube K stuff, go ahead and try it out. It's interesting enough noise.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bucket Facts.
We
listen
to 3
Pikes
this week. Pike 271, 272, and 273. The squaring of the circle.
I'm so sorry.
You with us?
I'm so sorry. It's wiped out of my app for some reason. Now I got to find it again. Pike 272, Coniunctio?
Coniunctio.
And 273,
Guillotine Furnace.
Wow.
Indeed.
That's a lot of pikes.
Pike 271, The Squaring of the Circle, released on August 25th, 2017, 12 days after the previous Pike, A3. This was a great Pike.
Yeah, actually, this is a pretty great Pike. This one was really pretty popular online as well, and you can see why, because it's like hitting all the like things that
it's very Buckethead.
It's very Buckethead, and it's like it's the thing that he hits a lot of things that his fans like quite a lot. I mean, it's got like
kind of
sorry, yeah, it kind of hits everything, right? It's very like you get the first song with the big like melodic, powerful guitar solo. You get other stuff with like heavier metal riffs. You get some instrument, like standard kind of instrumental rock stuff. There's some solid bass on this record.
Very good bass. I mean, the bass continues to be very good. And I don't know what he's been doing in the past, 15 Pikes, but, basically all of them have really good bass.
Yeah, that's true.
Really well thought out bass. I don't know if he's programming it or there's some stuff on here, slides on the bass and stuff. And I'm like, that's definitely a bassist. I don't know if it's Dan Monty, if it's Bucket, if it's programming, but whatever is happening, I really am enjoying it. It adds to the production, adds to the atmosphere of the music. Really good shit. And as you said, this really hits all of the Buckethead tropes.
It really does.
In a way, it's not a big soaring metal album like Buckethead does, and it's not really a super melodic alt metal album. It's more in his metal camp, just straight up metal. There's a lot of types of metal here. There's melodic metal. There's actually some post metal, some post rock. There's some straight up death metal. Track 3, Scalp a Sail. It's fucking wild. It goes into
heavy,
pirate thrash for a while, and then there's doom, and then there's soaring instrumental metal, and then dirty ass super staccato death metal.
I would argue that most death metal is dirty ass. Because those dudes don't be washing their ass.
Yeah, that's why I only listen to bidet death metal.
Nice. Okay, we got to talk about pirate metal for a second here. Okay,
we've already talked about pirate metal 3 times on this podcast.
I know. I have some things to say.
Running Wild, B flat minor.
It's
Shut
B
up,
minor.
Spenser. Yeah, whatever.
But then there's Ailstorm and shit like that. That shit ain't pirate metal. Fuck Ailstorm. Ailstorm's bullshit.
Okay, Gatekeeper. What pirate metal band were you in, Spenser, that you can keep this gate? We made one pirate metal song.
I forgot we made a pirate metal song. We did do that, didn't we? Because we only made that because I specifically was super into Running Wild at the time, and I was writing all those Running Wild riffs. But okay, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because you mentioned pirate thrash, which I don't think is a thing I've heard. I think the closest thing to pirate thrash would probably be those 90s Running Wild albums, but those are way more power metal than thrash.
I mean, they've got thrash elements, they've got power metal elements.
Definitely.
They're very, very succinctly 90s metal when then people started doing crossover between metal genres from the 80s,
Mm-hmm. But I would love to see a specifically pirate thrash band. That would be fun. That'd
be interesting.
Speaking of thrash bands, there seem to be a lot of active thrash bands in the Bay Area, which is a wild thing. I had no idea that there were still thrash bands. That's crazy. But
what? Of course. In the same way that fucking New York is still full of bands that sound like the Strokes.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, right. And Seattle still has fucking grunge bands, man.
One of my friends who worked at an Apple store in New York met the dude from the Strokes at the Apple store.
Julian Casablancas.
That's the one.
Interesting.
I don't know who that dude is or what he looks like, other than that he's in the Strokes and people keep mentioning him. He looks like
he's in the Strokes.
I'm picturing what he looks like, and I bet
that's
it's
exactly what he looks like, Spenser. That's exactly what he looks. That's picture perfect.
Okay, I think I gotta look him up.
You could give this to a police sketch artist. I think I gotta look
him up.
No, you're gonna be well, yeah, that's the exact same haircut I thought he'd have. That's the same face.
Oh my God, he looks exactly how I thought he was going to look.
Exactly. He looks like he's in the fucking Strokes, Spenser.
Yeah, he does. Wow. Holy
shit. But anyway, back to the squaring of the circle. I really liked the track after Scalp a Sail, although I will say Scalp a Sail was probably my track of the week. Track 3. It was just super metal. It went a lot of places. It was one of the more manic songs he had on here, and he doesn't do a lot of repeating riffs on this album at all.
No, he doesn't really. Other than the songs where it's melodic guitar solo, there's a lot of repeated rhythm stuff.
Yeah, track 5, Mosaic Silk. It was a very nice melodic rock song, and
my note for that song is track 5 is classic Buckethead.
Very much so. There's a part midway through where he does this tapping part with delay, and his note choice on it is beautiful.
You are correct. I remember that part as well.
There's a lot of tapping parts, especially when you put delay on tapping, that just don't sound great. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the note choices conflict with each other. But he built up this beautiful soundscape with the delay, and I was just hell yeah, Bucket. That was a tasty, tasty one.
Yeah,
And then it closes out on track 6, D-Cake.
Which is that's a great song title.
Yeah, it is. It was kind of grungier, maybe a little black metal-ish, more so than the other ones. It was a lot more like, tremolo picking, chordal stuff.
Yeah.
It was dark, but pretty sick. Kind of like the darkest song on the album. And I don't know if I love, a Pike finishing on, a really dark song. I like the more hopeful endings. But still pretty great.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, this whole album ruled. A great mix of exactly what makes Buckethead in very specifically like a metal context, and really shows master on the top of his craft.
Agreed.
Macaroni and cheese. I bet Buckethead eats a lot of Kraft macaroni. And cheese.
I would bet that too. Are you familiar with the band Annihilator?
Yeah, the Canadian thrash band.
Correct. So the main guy
Alice
from
in Hell.
that band, he's like notoriously difficult to work with, and he's like the guy that writes all the music and a revolving door of people, playing the rest of the band.
Yeah.
But there's a song I think on it's either on their first or second album. So their first album is Alice in Hell, and their second album is Never Neverland, and it's on one of those two albums. I think it's on Never Neverland, but there's a song called Kraft Dinner, and it's just literally about coming home drunk and making mac and cheese, and that's the whole thing. And it's like a technical riffing thrash song. It's very funny.
They're a pretty techie thrash.
They're
band.
super techie. Yeah.
Their
They're like
drummer,
one of the first like super technical like metal bands. I feel
their
like.
first drummer is amazing. He's playing for someone pretty big now. I forget who it was.
Maybe it's like Death Angel or something.
Maybe I think it was maybe Slayer.
Oh, whoa. That's
because I mean he's one of like the fastest drummers in the world. That dude's fucking insane.
Nice.
Or he was like 10 years ago when people cared about that shit.
Sure.
You remember like early metal internet when it was just like people like arguing about who's the best and shit like that?
Definitely.
That was stupid as fuck.
I mean, people still do that. We're just not in those groups anymore. You know?
Mike Mangini is who I'm thinking.
Oh, I've heard of that man.
He was with Extreme. He's with Dream Theater now.
Oh my
he's
god,
Dream Theater's drummer.
Wow, that's a big step up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, he's played on like like 8 albums with him. Shit.
Wow, that's a long. 8 albums? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess he wasn't Annihilator's first drummer. He was only with them from the 90s through like the mid 2000s. Huh, yeah.
I mean, makes sense.
Yeah.
Pretty shred.
Super shred. Better shred than dead, bro. Speaking of better shred than dead, better dead than shred, I guess. Pike 272, Coniunctio.
Yes.
Which has no shredding at all.
No.
And it was released on August 28th, 2017, 3 days after the squaring of the circle.
So I'm going to interrupt here, and we are going to read a statement from the Bucket Void. Mm-hmm. Okay, because I have a comment here that explains the name of this pike, and I feel like they did it pretty well. Okay. YouTube user Donnie Ka says, and their yes, exactly. Their profile picture is the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 logo, which I think is pretty good. And Donnie Ka says 4 years ago, for those wondering, Coniunctio, or the conjunction, is a term used in alchemy to describe the union of two elements, often the feminine and masculine, giving birth to a third perfected element. In Jungian psychotherapy, the wholeness is attained by the conjunction of two opposites. Interesting.
The wholeness, HOLE-ness.
Yeah.
Filling that wholeness. Big old bucket dick.
Whoa.
Yeah, Coniunctio. That's more like it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah, this is like a pure ambient guitar.
A solo
album.
guitar ambient album.
It's literally just like a bunch of layered volume swells.
Yeah, a lot of volume swells, lots of reverb. And I think Ebow... I'm not sure if he's playing Ebow on it, because there's a lot of stuff that sounds almost too synthy, but it's definitely guitar because you can hear fretting occasionally.
Yeah.
And so I actually read a review from some guy I actually like, who has reviewed all of the Pikes, and every now and again I'll like look at his reviews just to like get another perspective. And he thought that this was an entirely keyboard album. And I'm like, there's no way.
No.
It's not a keyboard album.
It's definitely not.
No. You can hear the fretting.
Yeah,
you can't hear fretting on a fucking keyboard. Like, it's not often, but you can hear the fretting.
So I actually had the same thought as you. I was like, is this Ebow or is this just a volume swell? I think it's just volume swells with a bunch of reverb. Like,
I mean, it could be. I'm not sure. I'm not willing to count out Ebow.
Totally.
Although I don't think I've heard Bucket really use Ebow before.
That's why I'm leaning more towards volume swells.
Right. So I don't know. It could happen. It could happen.
I mean, like, that seems like a tool he would potentially be into. You know?
Right.
But like the other thing that makes me think that it's probably not Ebow, it's like typically with Ebow you get like these very long drones, and this album is very much like the drones come in and go away. They're like fading in and out. So that makes me think, hey, probably volume swells. But yeah, it definitely could be Ebow. I'm not ruling it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I'm just looking it up right now, and there's not really anything about Buckethead playing the Ebow, I don't think. And that would usually be in there somewhere. People catalog his equipment a lot. So
this album is incredibly sparse, but the melodic like note choices I think are really smart.
It's a really pretty album. It's just not a super interesting album.
Yeah. It definitely creates an ambiance, if you will.
Yeah, it'd be good like fucking massage music or some shit like that. It's like
it's kind of too sad for a massage. Like it's got
you can get a sad massage. Like you mean a massage without a happy ending?
That is what I mean.
Can I get a sad ending?
Have I ever talked to you about rubmaps.org?
Yeah, we've talked about Rubmaps.
Okay. I haven't looked.
Now, why don't you tell the audience about Rubmaps? I don't think we talked about it on here.
Really? Oh, wow.
Maybe,
okay, so years ago, I was living in a place called Shoreline, Washington, which is like it's like the municipality immediately north of Seattle or northwest of Seattle. And it's like a suburb. And I was living out there, and there was a place on the corner of like one of the streets I would turn down to get to my house. And it was just like a massage parlor. And it just said like Asian massage parlor, and it was open very late at night. And like, I never saw anybody coming or going except at night. And I was like,
they saw a lot of people coming.
I was like, that doesn't seem that weird, but that maybe seems a little weird.
Does.
And so I looked it up, and like, as soon as I typed in the name of that place, I don't remember the actual name of it, but as soon as I typed in the name of that place, it brought up a link. The first link that came up was a link to a website called rubmaps.org. And I was like, interesting. And so I clicked on that link, and it took me to Rubmaps, which is a map of where you can get a hand job at a massage parlor. And there's like user reviews of all these dudes that are like, this is what they'll let you do. This is what you can get away with for this amount of money. And I'm like, oh no. But then I looked at the actual Rub map and found that there were like 30 of these places within like a 2-mile radius of my house. And I was like, oh my God, why are there so many? Clearly there's a market there. So
right.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, I'm not accusing you of anything, but what's the best one you went to?
I have not attended any of them, but
attended. Have you patronized any of them, Spenser?
No patronization here.
Okay.
I'm not into the patriarchy, Brit. So
true.
Yeah. But pretty interesting website. If you want to see all of the Asian massage parlors around you, you know where to go. So
I'm looking to see if it's still around. Rubmaps.ch is what it is now.
Oh, okay. All right. They lost their .org status, huh?
I guess so.
Okay.
They also redirect from www.thenutjob.com.
Okay.
And also from theporndude.com.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's also a rubmaps.app, which makes me wonder if they have an app.
Probably only on Android.
No, they do. They do have an app. Holy shit.
It's probably only on Android.
Oh, yeah, that seems like an Android exclusive.
I don't think they could get away with that on iOS.
Rubmaps.
App.
this is great.
Can you see the nearest one to you?
I mean, I'm not on their site. I'm looking at some other stuff right now. Oh, no, I am on rubmaps.app. There's some interesting stuff here. So, like, apparently, it gives a city count. What city in the United States do you think has the most locations on Rubmaps?
New York?
Yeah, New York City is number 1.
Nice.
Number 2 is L.A., is probably expected.
Number 3, San Francisco.
No, Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Number 4, New Jersey. Number 5, and I find this very interesting, is the state of Arkansas.
What?
160 there.
Wow. Okay. Odd. So
Yeah.
I went to their website here, and it gives me a list of like all the cities around me and how many there are in all the cities around me. So here in Santa Clara, apparently 37.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So yeah, California's got to have like 1,000. Like if LA alone has several hundred, like holy shit.
Oh no, California, I would guess in the multiple thousands.
Yeah. California's got to be the number 1 state because New York City's number 1 for a city, but I don't imagine there's a ton in Buffalo and Albany and fucking Catskills and shit. Who knows? Maybe fucking everyone goes up to get fucking hand job in the Catskills. Who knows?
Oh man, hey, you're on the website, right? You've seen their logo. Their logo is really good.
Yeah, it's pretty. They know their business.
So the logo, if you're not looking at it, it is an image of like the continental United States, over which it says "rub" in large letters, and then below that it says "maps," and then there's just an image of a hand, just a hand, because you know what you're getting.
Well, what are you going to get rubbed with, Spencer?
I mean, you can get a foot rub. I don't know.
From a professor. I don't want a fucking professional fucking putting their feet on me. That's gross.
Hey, that's what you think. That's what we think, but we can't.
That's true.
We can't shame.
Yeah, that is kink shaming, I guess.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't know. That's not how you massage someone, really. I mean, you can, I guess. It's just, if you're a licensed massage therapist, usually you're not using your feet.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
Like, I want a competent massage that, like, helps my body, not one where they're just stepping on me to see what works.
Brit, you're in, like, the desert of Rubmaps because, like, I just looked up.
Where am I going to get rubbed? No, there's definitely, I think, one in Kirkland.
There's 3 in Kirkland.
Okay, because there's a Chinese foot massage place that's open till, like, 2 a.m.
Of course they are.
Yeah, and that's like right down the road. They used to be like in the mall over here, but they tore down the mall, so they just moved next to the watch shop.
Yeah, I'm glad they stayed in business. I'm glad the COVID didn't kill them.
Yeah, definitely.
That's nice. But yeah, there's 3 in Kirkland, and there's 37 in Santa Clara. So
I mean, that's not a desert. I feel like that's a good ratio. Santa Clara has a fucking wild ratio, and that's actually weird. I mean, like look up if you wouldn't mind look up Redmond or Bellevue because there's a lot more tech people there.
That's true.
So I figure they probably have like at least a dozen in either one of
so
those.
Redmond, 18.
Told you.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
And
that makes
Bellevue,
sense.
Let's look at Bellevue. Bellevue. Oh my God! You want to know how?
Yeah.
Take a guess. How many are in Bellevue?
Like 28.
Nice try. 73.
Holy shit! That's double Santa Clara.
I know.
There's no way there's as many people in Bellevue as Santa Clara.
There's probably more people in Bellevue.
You think so?
Well, so here's the thing.
Huge.
Like these little California like suburb towns, like they just run them right up against other towns, so they're not that big. There's usually not like a huge amount of people in any one of them, except for like San Jose.
They have almost the exact same population.
Interesting. Much more of a desire though for.
Yeah, Bellevue has about 20,000 more people, but that's only like 10% more, less than 10% more, like 5% more.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, right? That's super strange.
Let's see. Like, I wonder what
tons of rub downs. I gotta go to Bellevue and get myself jerked off. I could get jerked off at a different place for over 2 months in Bellevue. Why am I living in Kirkland?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I can't even last a week here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go through all the hand jobs in a fucking week, Spencer.
Exactly. That's
not enough hand jobs.
You know what you should do? You should go on a road trip across America, but you should plan it on Rubmaps.
You mean a rub trip?
Yeah, a rub trip across
That's
America.
the name of the episode.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. So, how would you feel about this pike here, Coniunctio?
While getting a hand job?
Playing while you get a hand job from a stranger.
It's a happy enough ending.
Yeah.
Like the whole time they're like gonna be like, and I'm gonna be like, you think that's an Ebow? And they're gonna be like, what? you know, have you ever seen an Ebow? It's like this little vibrating electronic thing, like a vibrator. No. Well, yeah, I guess like a vibrator for guitar.
Yeah, like
maybe,
for guitar
sure, why
strings.
not?
Yeah.
You want vibrator? No, not on me. Not on. Actually, you know what?
Sure.
Yeah, put it on the balls. Put it on the balls.
Like, yeah, $40 extra. You know.
No, I could have brought my own for $40. Like,
you're paying for the experience. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Pretty good stuff. I would say this pike is a solid ambient effort by our friend
it's
Buck.
not as good. He did a ambient one a few pikes ago that was better, I think. That was more, focused. This one was good. It just wasn't like, there wasn't really much repetition. It was more like him riffing melodically.
Yeah.
Ambient style for a long time.
Yeah, just making soundscapes. It is also rumored. I don't think that this rumor is accurate, though, but it is rumored that this is the album that he made when he was lying in his bed after having his heart procedure.
Yeah, because
we talked about that last
in an
week,
interview.
Didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it's rumored that this is the one that he made while laying in his bed, but we don't know that for sure.
I guess that would make sense. Well, but then he couldn't do... Well, maybe he's just like fretting and doing volume swells with his hand on the pedal. That would make sense. Or he could just be doing it on the guitar.
I think he's just doing it on the guitar, and I think somebody else is manning the computer. Because in the interview, he's like, yeah, I laid in my bed and then made an album with my friend. And like, so...
which has got to be Dan Monty.
It's got to be Dan Monty. Yeah, for sure.
Got to be the DM.
The DM.
Fucking hit me up in the DMs.
Yeah.
The Dan Montys.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Dungeon Montys.
The Dan Masters.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, pretty all right pike, about average, I'd say overall, just because I'm not really into the ambient stuff.
Yeah, it's about it's an average $80 hand job.
$80?
That's how much it costs for a hand job.
Oh, interesting.
According to Rubmaps.org, I'm not speaking from experience here.
So I only have to work 3 hours to get a fucking hand job?
True that. You can get one every day.
I could
go to Bellevue.
That would be a large expense to do every day. Like work 3 hours every day just to get fucking jerked off.
It would be cool to go do that on your lunch break.
Yeah, I work 3 hours every day for my apartment. I don't want to have to think about that in the same way.
You just got to budget better, Brit. You got to budget.
Yeah,
better.
True. Yeah, I gotta skip those fucking frappuccinos so I can get jerked off every day.
Exactly.
Skip the Starbucks, make coffee at home, make your own lunch, get jerked off every day.
Yeah.
Power of fucking discipline.
These fucking snowflake millennials with their avocado toast and their $80 hand jobs.
And their fucking consolation prizes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. It's fucking baby millennials. Fucking... My day, we used to pay a prostitute to suck our dick. Not with their hand, with their fucking mouth. What happened to America?
Exactly. Speaking of what happened to America, Pike 273.
Speaking of what I want to do to lots of leaders of America, Guillotine Furnace.
Yes.
Released on December 9th, 2017, 103 days after Coniunctio.
Whoa, 173 days?
103.
103 days? Wow, that's a long time. It's 3 months, a little over 3 months.
Yeah. Difference between end of August and middle of December.
This pike is pretty cool.
It's pretty fucking sick. It is split up into 8 tracks, all called Guillotine Furnace, part 1 through 8. And inasmuch, it is one of those albums where every track kind of runs into the last one, inasmuch some of the tracks even have the ending note of the previous track playing, it's very intentionally running through. and it fucking rocks.
Yeah, it's very much in the same vein as like Jeopardy backwards. Not as chaotic and not as interesting as that one.
It's pretty chaotic. I mean, there's a lot of... I'd say it's more chaotic when it comes to like effects. Like he uses a ton of effects as this album goes on. It really ramps up, I feel. Like it starts out like pretty just shred metal, and then like eventually by the middle of the album, he's like incorporating all of his effects, doing tons of laser sounds and kill switch shit. Lots of whammy pedal, lots of wah, lots of envelopes.
Hell yeah.
I'd say this is one that ramps. Like it starts out good and gets really cool.
Yeah. So this one starts off like the first song's got those electronic drums that we're not super a huge fan of, but then he like kind of moves away from that and it becomes more diverse. He starts really experimenting with stuff. Doesn't really repeat a lot of riffs. Goes a lot of places. Like it's heavy. It's
as
funky.
You said, Jeopardy backwards, roller coaster track repair. Those types of like frenetic,
which are
always shifting.
I think historically our favorite types of Pikes,
definitely,
because they're the most
100%.
like interesting. I feel maybe interesting is not the right word. They're the most like.
No, they are to me the most interesting, and I feel almost the most intentional. Like it, having done a lot of stuff in DAWs and stuff, and you having done that too, like we know how much like focus and energy doing something like this would take.
Definitely, yeah.
And like just like mashing up 1,000 riffs together to make something coherent.
Yeah, it definitely required some effort to make that. And like, I like describing it as intentional. It does feel very intentional, much in the way those other Pikes do. And like, I feel like these sort of albums are very like divisive for his fans, because a lot of his fans, I feel like they come to Buckethead looking for like melodic guitar solos over like heavy like backing riffs. Like,
right. And I think a big problem is like most people, I think, get into Buckethead in one of two ways, which is going to be, or have gotten into Buckethead in one of two ways, which is the video games he's been on, in which you only hear Soothsayer and Jordan, both of which are good songs, but like, very soaring melodic rock songs.
Yeah.
Or they got into him through Guns N' Roses, which, is, he's playing fucking Slash parts basically, which is not really what he does.
It's not. Really
so a lot of people expect that from him, but it's not totally his thing. It's something he does. It's in his repertoire, but like, I don't consider that like the heart and soul of Buckethead music. Yeah,
if I learned anything doing this, I would say that I learned that Buckethead is a very is an artist with a lot of tools in his toolbox, and he can do a lot of different things. And the fact that he can do all of those different things is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the most versatile guitarist I've ever heard.
Definitely.
But he's incredibly versatile.
Yeah, no, within his repertoire, like he can do a lot, and he can make it sound pretty different.
Well.
Yeah, and he can do it very, very competently, very, very well. Like he can do this like kind of frenetic, riffy, technical stuff, but he can also do the like ambient stuff. He can also do the like melodic guitar solo stuff, which
he can also do new age. Like two of my favorite albums of his are basically new age acoustic.
That's true.
Electric
Tears,
Electric Tears, maybe Acoustic Shards I'd include on that, and Electric Sea.
Yeah,
amazing.
Truly, like hell of an artist. But no, this Pike's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. This Pike kills. If I could recommend, I would recommend listening to the whole thing all the way through, because it is basically one big wild song, and it ramps. Like it definitely gives you a feeling, and it starts out and you're like grooving, and by the middle you're like, whoa, he's doing some crazy shit here, and by the end you're like, that was fucking cool.
Yeah,
like that was he just like mixed it up. The fucking track 5 rips, and it has this crazy solo before going into like melodic prog music for most of the rest of the song, and that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
I love when he does like super proggy shit, because he does prog in such an interesting way, because he almost always does prog in 4/4, which I find super interesting.
Yeah, like I hesitate to call a lot of his music progressive, but like he definitely does pull in elements of that, and there are albums of his that I would say like, hey, this is like definitely heavily influenced by progressive rock, and you can hear that in his music, but it's always like, I feel like it's always in 4/4, like it's always very like.
It always. I mean, it's very difficult to in basically any DAW do a lot of time shifting, especially when you have programmed drums.
When you have programmed drums, it's honestly pretty easy. But
especially the farther you go back, like in 2013, that would have been a fucking nightmare.
I don't know. I was doing it in 2009. I was doing all that shit in Logic. You can just like program it in. But then again,
yeah. But you've never made anything with like 1,000 riffs like this, though. You know what I mean?
Fair.
You know, and so it's one of those things where, you know, the more structure you have, the easier it is. But like, if he's trying to do like basically every riff, and he's doing a new riff every 15 seconds, that's going to be a fucking pain in the ass.
As far as like programming and then keeping everything straight, and also making like the issues that I ran into using alternate time signatures is just that like if you don't structure it exactly how the DAW wants to see it, you end up with like these riffs that end on like weird, like decimal points of like bars in the DAW, and then it makes it weird and it makes it complicated. So it makes sense, right? Like because
there is some stuff too, like, you know, with earlier DAW stuff. I remember, I don't know if it was Acid or earlier Reason wouldn't let you shift from the lower denominator of your time signature. So, you know, if you set it at 4/4, you could only do like 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4. You couldn't do like, if I needed to do a 15/8, it wouldn't let you do that. And which fucking sucks.
Definitely.
You know, because especially when you're trying to make prog stuff, sometimes stuff has to be very specifically timed.
Totally.
And making up for that on the back end is very fucking, a lot of thought work that you don't want to have to do.
I mean, I've done it, and it is very. It's a lot of
time consuming.
It is time consuming.
Yeah, it's like maybe it's not difficult, but it's fucking time.
Yeah, and you have to be like very sharp with counting, which like not every musician is, for good reason, because you don't need it in every circumstance, right? Like
and also like honestly, like music sounds better without, you know, specific counting.
Yeah,
like music sounds better when everyone's just in a groove together. That's why funk music always sounds so good, is because no one's playing to a click track.
Yeah.
And no one's rushing.
Yeah.
Like they're all
the shittiest time I ever had with that was when I was playing with this melodeath band, and we every song was just like in 4/4 except for one song that was in 3/4, and it was super confusing to play because I like all of the stringed instruments were playing in 3/4, but the drummer was playing in 4/4, and it was an intentional choice because of the way it sounded. But it was like fucking impossible for me to like stay on time because of this. It was just so weird, and like I eventually got it. I had to practice it a lot, but I got it. But like it was just such a pain, and I always had to count it whenever we played it live, and it was just annoying, and like it just. Yeah, that shit kind of sucks to play. It's just not that fun. I don't know. Unless you're like very like on it and that's something you do all the time. But it was weird because like that was we only had one song that was like that. So it was like all the other songs, no issues, but that song, weird. And it's like annoying.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, as a bassist, I love syncopation, like almost more than anything. Like, especially when like a drummer and a bassist get in a cool syncopated groove and guitarists do like a lot of like very straightforward stuff around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's like some of my favorites. Like early Atheist type stuff.
Totally.
So cool.
See, the thing is like, there are ways to make that easier. Like if I was writing that myself, I would have the drums in 3/4 and then the guitars in 4/4, because that's easier. Like it's easier for me to play, you know. So like,
especially with blasting, having
that's why it was confusing, because he was blasting. So he was blasting in 4/4, but I had to be like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Especially if he's doing, because I know Simon does a lot of fills and cymbal hits, and so if he's doing that at like the end of every measure, every second measure. That's gotta be
super
really
confusing. Yeah, it was very confusing. And then they were mad because I couldn't stay on time, and I was mad at myself because I couldn't stay on time.
And also, Simon was just always mad for some reason.
That's true.
At least online. Like he was just a dickhead online from what I remember.
Nice guy IRL. But yeah.
I met him a couple times and he was always nice. But it was
very
definitely
intense
person
is how I would describe him. Yeah.
Definitely.
Anywho.
So yeah, Guillotine Furnace. If you had a specific furnace to always be heating one thing, what would it be?
Bread.
Just a bread furnace? I mean, they have those. They're called like fucking toaster oven. Please have a toaster oven. Always keeping your bread at like 130 degrees.
That sounds like something like a Russian person who doesn't speak English would describe a toaster oven as, like
the bread warmer.
Bread furnace.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
no, I just like the idea of like bread baking all of the time. Like that's nice. It's just baking bread smells so incredible. It's one of those like top tier like smells. You know, like you got like onions and garlic sautéing. You got bread baking. You got
new sneakers.
You got
new car.
Definitely new car. You got a freshly opened pack of magic cards. Oh my God.
Isn't it?
That's
a
hell of a smell, hell of a bouquet. And then you got like cookies, right? Freshly baked cookies.
Sure.
Like those are like the top tier ones in my opinion.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
I mean, depending, French fries.
Oh yeah. Oh God,
phenomenal.
French fries is an incredible smell.
That's one of the few things that like always just makes me hungry.
That's true.
Like the smell of French fries frying in good clean oil.
Speaking of French fries frying, I'm gonna go try In-N-Out's fries today.
They're In-N-Out is fine.
Yeah, people are fucking obsessed with it around here, and then I'm like,
the best thing there you can't have.
Yeah.
The best thing there is the Neapolitan shake, which is really good, and it's like an off-menu thing. But yeah, get the fries. You should be able to get them animal style. I think that's vegan.
Interesting.
Yeah, just tell them like animal style, no cheese, because I don't remember.
What's on there? Just like green onions or whatever?
No, so animal style is in anything in the restaurant is just covered with their special sauce, which is Thousand Island dressing. Which should just be, I think, whipped oil. So it might have egg. I'm not sure. You should check before.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to try fries. I like trying fries.
They're fine.
And yeah,
they're fine.
I'm sure they are. But people keep bothering me about In-N-Out, and I'm like, why do you think I care about this? Like, I definitely don't.
Like straight
care.
up, like. Yeah, like I would say like Five Guys is superior
love
in
Five
every way.
Guys. Five Guys has the best fries.
Their fries are definitely
fries,
better.
yeah.
Their burgers are on par.
Yeah.
They're more expensive obviously because Five Guys for some reason is wildly expensive.
Yeah, but I feel like their fries are really good and their fries are worth it. And they give you a lot of fries. It's like typically I think fries a regular order of fries I think is $5.85 or something like that, which is expensive, but they're worth it.
So according to a company mandate, they have to, after they fill up the fries and put them in the bag, they put an extra scoop of fries in the bag.
You get so many fries from them.
Yeah, it's so many fries, and they're great.
They're great because they make them the right way. They cut the real potatoes, they blanch them, and then they fry them in peanut oil. And it's perfect.
Do they do an oil blanch or a boil blanch?
Boil blanch.
Boil blanch. I don't know. I kind of usually prefer the. I mean, it depends. I love it when you just keep on oil blanching it more and more times. Like a Ford, as I said, at Whole Foods, I experimented with a lot of stuff. And one time I made 3 times blanched fries, and that was incredible.
So that's like you flash fry it in like a really hot oil for a second, and then you cook it in like
for about a minute.
And then you cook it in like
a
colder oil to like cook it all the way through. Or
no. So what you do basically is. You flash fry it at usually about 450 degrees for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then you take them out and you freeze them.
Oh, interesting.
Put them on a big sheet tray, freeze them, and then you do that again, and then you freeze them again, and then you do it again for a third time for a triple blanch fry, which they ended up just like, I mean, the inside was so like creamy and melty, but the outside crust on it was like a quarter of an inch thick. It's just so crispy.
That's pretty neat.
That would actually probably be the best way to do like steak fries because steak fries get soggy so often. A triple blanch steak fry would probably fuck.
Yeah, it probably would be pretty good. I do like a steak fry. A steak fry is really good.
Indeed.
But yeah, Five Guys probably my top tier fast food fries.
Super, super wonderful.
Super wonderful.
We love. I mean, if we're going for like a hand cut, I love Dick's.
Yeah, you do.
I'm only
Dick's.
Sometimes in the mood for Dick's fries. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of loving Dick's, that was the Pikes for the week.
Is it time?
Having listened to all of the Pikes for the week,
we did.
I think it's time for some statements from the Bucket Void.
Statements from the Bucket Void.
Bucket Void. Oh my god.
my god.
Oh my god. Wow, this is the part of the show where we look at YouTube and laugh at the people commenting on YouTube. Sometimes we don't laugh at them. Sometimes we just read the things they post, but sometimes we do laugh at them. And
sometimes we jerk off to the things they post. Sometimes we go on rubmaps.com to find someone to jerk us off for us.
While we read these comments.
While we read these
posts.
posts.
We could be doing that right now. You don't know this is audio only. This is an audio only episode. You don't know what we look like or what we're doing. So just saying, it could exist.
Maybe I'm at the... I mean, I don't even know if it's open. The weird thing, too, is like a lot of these places don't open until like 5 p.m. And like, what reputable business besides like an Italian restaurant doesn't open till 5 fucking p.m.?
Oh, that's a good point.
Like,
yeah.
And even then, Italian?
Yeah. Ooh.
Not reputable.
Yeah, no, highly sus.
Not a reputable people. Not a reputable country.
Speaking of sus, YouTube user Radu Kostin Pervu says, 4 years ago, edited, "Thank you, Buck, for adding some color to my boring mid-age life. Never thought something could still impress me, but here you are, doing it again. Definitely, you're my greatest musical discovery in the last couple of years."
You know, we love an artist that like gives someone hope.
Yeah, no, we do, and there's nothing funny about that, but there is something funny about saying thank you, Buck, for adding some color to my boring mid-age life.
Is there? I think that's more depressing, Spencer. I think. Like,
I mean, that's why it's
I think
funny.
it's sad that this guy has like a boring mid-age life, and like a high point is like coming home and like listening to fucking Buckethead rips by Poli Poli
On
8
YouTube,
or Humano Being on YouTube, and like commenting like to a person who's never going to like, you know, give recognition to this comment or care. Maybe, I'm not sure. He might. Buckethead might look and care. I'm not sure. He might be Jordan. That'd be great if Buckethead was Jordan.
Yeah. That's what we want. Right. That honestly is what we want.
Just some guy gassing himself up on the internet the entire time.
Perfect.
No one would expect
That'd
it.
Be perfect.
No one would expect it. That'd be the craziest twist ever. That'd be some M. Night Shyamalan shit.
Definitely. Oh, speaking of some M. Night Shyamalan shit, oh man, I watched that movie Old. Have you seen Old?
I've not seen Old, the one where the beach turns to
Yes.
old.
I'm only gonna say one thing about it, and that is I surprisingly really liked it. I think you should watch it. It's good.
Okay.
Anyways, moving on.
You know what I actually surprisingly loved recently? It's the 1982 comedy Screwballs. Like it's a thing I've joked about for years, just because it's supposed to be like the quintessential like 80s misogynist screwball comedy, and it is. And like I hate misogyny and like hate that culture, but like it's so convoluted and like it almost parodies itself in such an amazingly bad way that I found it incredible.
That rocks.
Incredible. Like I'm still thinking about this movie like after a week later from watching it, because I'm just like, holy shit, that was a fucking wild ride, man.
That's pretty funny.
Wild ride.
I love that. Speaking of a wild ride, Uwe Gierkin says 4 years ago.
He's talked a lot on.
He mentions that he
Frequent
gets some. He got some vinyl Pikes, which is he's excited about. But he follows that up by saying, "I am shitting in my pants," which is nice.
That's some excitement. Do you think it's just because he's excited, or do you think that's a completely separate clause?
I think that he was just commenting about the albums, and then he was like, "Oh."
And then
shit,
he's like,
I gotta go.
Here comes the poopy. I can't keep commenting. Ellipsis. Shits his pants.
And then ran away, yeah.
There's shit running down his leg, and he's like, Elephant Man's alarm clock.
Better to shit in the sink than sink in the shit.
I like
Me
that.
too.
That's really good.
Me too.
Yeah, better to shit in your pants. No, I ain't got nothing here. Just that's it. That's the whole statement. It's better to shit in your pants.
I love that. That's great. YouTube user Bucketbot says 2 years ago edited. Only a true living God is capable of this and that, the song and the act.
handicapable.
Yeah. Something like that.
The song and the yeah. I mean, he's got a cool act.
A YouTube user Kirzo says 3 years ago, fork time.
Fork time. Yeah, I like fork time.
Fork time. Fork time. In your mind. In your mind.
Your mind.
That's a reference to our bonus episode about Loose in 8, available on our Patreon.
Yeah, wonderful album.
Joe H. Comes in swinging with some pretty wild ideas here. 2 months ago, edited. This has to be written just for us. Joe H. says, "The Da Vinci Code is what he speaks. Buckethead is awake. Very few understand. A frequency genius of ancient geometric sequences. His catalog will be infinite. There's so much more than just the bucket and the mask on a level beyond the material world."
That dude is high.
Dude, so high. Somebody read back-to-back DMT, the Spirit Molecule, and the Da Vinci Code, and then was like, holy shit.
Right. No, he watched the Da Vinci Code with a screenplay by Akiva Goldsman.
Yes, oh, correct. Yeah.
He was also a showrunner for Strange New Worlds, which we talk about on our other podcast. It's all bucket connected.
It's all linked.
Aliens.
It's all linked to buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about Donnie Kaw's comment. Okay, so...
Tom Sawyer, the Rush fan.
Yeah,
again.
today's Tom Sawyer...
A real Tom Sawyer, he gets high on you. He comments on Buckethead just for you.
Today's Tom Sawyer says, 4 years ago, edited, "Hopefully he doesn't get into a Halloween series again. This is ambiente, not music. Selling this as music is unrespectful."
No likes, but 21 sub-comments.
Oh, ratioed, dude. Ratioed.
No, he got ratioed fucking hard for Buckethead YouTube. He got his ass handed back to him.
What's funny, though, is like even when people fight on Buckethead YouTube, they're pretty respectful. Like most of the people that responded were just like, "Hey, man, I don't think that's right. Like he's done a lot of this stuff in the past, and this is also pretty good. It's kind of par for the course for what he does. Like there's no reason to be mad about this, you know." And I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you don't like it, don't buy it. Like people put it up on YouTube and you can preview the music. Like it's selling this as music is unrespectful to who? To the people who actually want to buy it, because there are people who want to buy it. It's just music you don't like.
Agreed.
You know? Ambiente music.
Yeah, he's not a fan of ambiente.
I love how he spelled that. Ambient with an E on the end.
Ambiente. And also unrespectful. That's not a word.
Yeah, I mean, he's unrespectful to Buckethead.
Truly.
Fuck you, Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, today's Tom Sawyer. More like yesterday's Tom Sawyer.
Today's Tom Sawyer, hey, fuck you. Today's Tom Sawyer, he gets by on you.
I wish I could eat music, says 2 years ago.
Me too.
Since I started listening to Big B, I can speak my mind freely. My thoughts are much more precise. Demons are going away. My ears are clear. I don't care about the reaction of people anymore. He is really one of the greatest we have. Thanks, Big B, for everything.
This is a truly bucket pill.
It really is.
Like it's one of those people who like is giving Buckethead somehow credit for like changing their life through instrumental music, which is like there is no message.
Yes.
It's good music, but there's no message. How is it going to change your fucking life?
Agreed. It's really like it's weird because like how deep we are in the Pikes. The people that are still posting on there, the people that are still commenting on them, I feel like are like losing their minds. Like they're all collectively going to a place where they're like, this is the meaning of life. I have achieved true nirvana through listening to this music, through experiencing all of this, and I am now ascending to a higher plane of consciousness and understanding. And I'm like, you guys, it's just just a guitar solo.
It's a metal album. Like he's literally just a decent metal album. Like what the fuck, guy? Like wow.
Yeah. YouTube user Red Relic says 2 years ago, Holy Trinity. Buckethead. Jimmy Page. Eddie Hazel.
Tell me you grew up in the 70s without telling me you grew up in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's...
I mean, Eddie Hazel rules. I love Eddie Hazel. Parliament
Yeah,
Funkadelic.
definitely. Like, Eddie Hazel's great, but...
Jimmy Page is a rapist.
Yeah, and also just bad at
not a great
guitar.
guitarist.
Yeah, you know, he's a sloppy guitar player.
I would recommend everyone watch their performance. I think it was for Live Aid. Jimmy Page is so high out of his mind, and he plays everything like shit. But what's cooler is fucking Phil Collins is playing drums for them because it's after John Bonham died.
Whoa!
And Phil Collins sucks. But he ruins all of the songs. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It's so funny.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you want to watch Jimmy Page and Phil Collins fail at the same time, go look up. I think it's Led Zeppelin's Live Aid reunion. Zeppelin, okay. Yeah. Red Leopard's in.
Okay.
Red Leopard.
Ooh.
Def Leppard. Yeah.
Def Zeppelin.
Red. Yep.
That one. Yeah. Totally.
Sure, why not?
Totally.
Okay.
I think it's time for our favorite YouTube commenter.
Oh, is it? Let's go for this one.
Master of the shift key, a Bucketbot divine, commenter extraordinaire. It's time for Jordan Vine.
Jordan Vine says 4 years ago,
For fuck's sake!
This is world-class music. Buckethead music that is way better than anything else in the music industry or the history of music. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We love that. I can't even see this shit. This is
Here,
dense. No, I got it. I can make the.
Okay.
I've got a huge.
Yeah, it's hard for me to read too. Okay. Jordan Vine says 4 years ago, this is Buckethead, the master guitarist. He is not a beginner, so he doesn't need any guitar teachers giving him advice on how he should be playing the guitar and how he should be doing things, and question the thing he did that you thought he didn't do right. He's Buckethead, not someone learning the guitar for the first time. He's fucking Buckethead, the master of the instrument. Okay, he used to have a guitar teacher, Paul Gilbert, but he does not, I repeat, does not need or want any now. So stop trying to be a guitar teacher to him. He's doing completely fine without one. So please leave him alone to do what the fuck he likes with his music. Wow.
Yeah,
it's bold.
I'm surprised there's no likes on that.
Yeah,
one.
You know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So and so is this one. So we've got one more Jordan Vine for the night, and then we're gonna do one more Bucket Void, and then we're gonna wrap up. Okay. So this one's pretty fucking good. This is it's a classic Jordan Vine. If I had to pick a classic Jordan Vine, this is a classic Jordan Vine right here.
Oh, this is, yeah. Do you want to go back and forth?
Yes, absolutely.
On the list?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
I love it when he does these. These are so good. Okay. Jordan Vine says 4 years ago, when are people gonna realize and understand that it's his music? Because I'm sick and tired and fed up of reading comments like,
I wish he'd done this.
I wish he'd done that.
I want him to do this.
I want him to do that.
Why did he do this?
Why did he do that?
I want another Pikes album like that.
He should do less of this and more of that.
Slow down and do a proper, decent album.
Stop doing the Pikes.
ETC!
Look, people, it's his music, not, I repeat, not ours. He can do what? The fuck he wants to do with his fucking music. And if you don't like something he's doing or done, tough shit. Because it's his music, not ours. When are people gonna realize that when? I'll tell you this now. I'm not winging, whining, moaning, and complaining. Fuck no. Keep the awesome music coming, I say. Buckethead forever. Jordan Vine. Lastly for today, Santiago Bernabe Leal says 4 years ago.
You said there was no cum corner, Spencer. I don't have this queued up. You son of a bitch. You lied to me.
This is a secret cum corner, okay? Okay. And they say, hey, what happened with your whole channel? And whole is spelled...
Sorry.
Whole is spelled H-O-L-E.
Statements from the Bucket Boy.
Wow.
Super duper pooper scooper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Spencer, we're to the part of the show where we recommend a thing or a couple things or any amount of things we want, really.
I know.
It's up to you.
I have a big recommendation this week. So the new job that I'm doing gives me a lot of time to listen to music, like just listen to headphones and podcasts and stuff. Yeah. Because I'm mostly just like working at a computer, so I can just listen to whatever, which is pretty nice. So I've been using that time to listen to a lot of albums. I listened to a bunch of albums this week, but one album I ended up listening to multiple times. Now, when I was driving down to the Bay Area here from Seattle, I put on like a lot of just like auto-generated playlists. Like I would like play a song and then just have it like play similar songs for a while. And one of the things I spent a lot of time listening to was like 90s alternative rock radio. And I discovered a band that I have known about for a long time but never actually listened to.
Radiohead?
No. But that band is Local H.
Oh, yeah, Local H is pretty cool.
Local H is very fucking cool. And specifically their 1996 album, As Good as Dead. That album fucking rocks. I've listened to it a bunch of times this week. It is an excellent 90s alternative rock album. Every song is great. It's really diverse. It's really cool. It's aggressive.
Their instrumentation is super tight. One thing I really like about Local H that I like about Pavement, I guess, is like everyone is always playing pocket and their drummer is solid as fuck.
Yeah. So that's one thing about this band. They've had 3 drummers, and the drummer is always very, very good. Especially on this album, the drummer is fantastic. And what's also interesting about this band is they are a 2-piece. It is just a drummer and a guitar player / vocalist. That is it. And so like he plays all the guitar and bass on the album and does all the vocals.
So they do have bass on recordings. Okay. Because when I listen to them.
So when they play live, he actually has bass pickups on his Strat running into a bass amp. That's fun. So like that's how they play live. It's super cool. Like really neat, especially because like you listen to the songs and you're like, it doesn't sound like a 2-piece at all. It sounds like really full, and the songs are really well written and everything, and it's just super cool. So I went down a rabbit hole, like reading about that band, and then I've listened to almost their whole discography this week. Not quite, because I went back to listen to As Good as Dead a couple of times because that album is really, really good. But all of their albums are really solid, like really cool, like heavy rock stuff. Really neat, really good songwriting, really good vocals. Like just super cool band. Really into them. I can't recommend that album enough, though. It is fantastic.
You know who I actually discovered this week who was really fucking good? Is you ever listen to Red Fang? They're a Portland band.
Oh, yeah.
Stoner rock. Yeah, I'd never listened to them before, and like I kind of fell out of stoner rock, even though like Queens of the Stone Age used to be like my favorite band.
Definitely.
But nothing's really captured like the feeling I got from like Queens of the Stone Age first couple albums, but like Red Fang is like almost like that. Like
Interesting. I haven't listened to that band since like 2010.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, because that's probably just their first album, because they're not that old of a band. So you probably listen to their debut album, but like their newer stuff is especially good, super layered, like really fucking cool stuff. They got 2 vocalists, both of them are really good.
Nice.
And they're like diverse enough to where like, you know, like Queens of the Stone Age, like the songs are very distinct when either vocalist does stuff, because one of the vocalists is the bassist and the other one's a guitarist, which we love when that happens.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that too. That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to give that a listen.
Absolutely. But my actual recommendation... Are you done with recommendations?
I'm done, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've got a bunch of recommendations this week. First and foremost, holy shit, The Boys Season 3 was incredible.
I just found out that was airing the other day. I didn't even know that was airing.
The finale just happened. I watched it all with my brother, and it is easily the best season of the show so far in an already good show.
Yeah, like both of the first 2 seasons were amazing. Like,
yeah, they're
so
amazing,
good.
but this season they take so many risks, and all of them pay off in amazing storytelling. Like it's fucked up, and it's also like they've gone like very just like leftist satire entirely, and so it's like, and I love when media has great politics, and the politics of the show now are fantastic. Like they're super anti-imperialist, you know, anti-conservative. It's really fucking wonderful. They do like a lot of criticism on media and shit like that. Like they have a big platform and they're using it really well. And I'm surprised Amazon lets them do the show.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm really excited to watch that. I really liked those first 2 seasons. I thought the first season was great, but then the second season I felt like really like upped the ante.
The
I'm
third
excited
season
to hear that it does it
ups
even more.
the ante even more. Like it gets wild, and it's still like, you know, believable in the context of the show. Like it definitely works.
Nice.
Another thing I have to recommend is Eric Foner's Reconstruction. It's a book. Big history book.
Okay.
I love a big history book.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is a big, wild history book. Gives like amazing context on exactly what went wrong with race relations and civil rights in America after Abe Lincoln died.
Whoa.
And it makes you just fucking hate, you know, especially President Johnson was a real piece of shit. But then even Grant was a real fucking piece of shit too, even though he was a Republican. And it's really interesting because they use a lot of first source documents. And so like a lot of people talking about the times within the context of the times. And something that's super striking to me is people who wanted black suffrage, wanted to allow black people to vote, and wanted to allow women to vote at that time were all labeled as radicals.
Interesting.
And that's fucking wild to me that like those ideas, you know, 150 years ago were considered radical to people.
I mean, we still consider them radical.
Women's rights are radical.
It's just such an interesting, you know, time capsule, and like a way we can look back at the past and be like, wow, we're still basically like that fucked up. And like the line of thought that conservatives are still using to take away people's rights is the exact same that they did back then, and it's completely fucked up.
That's completely fucked up. Oh, really quick before that sounds great. Really quick before we end, I have an anti-recommendation.
Yeah,
and that is this right here. It is a new LaCroix flavor called Cherry Blossom.
It's
and
interesting.
It is the grossest thing I've ever had. It is fucking terrible.
Reframe it. Have a cold one and think of it as chocolate cherry. And it tastes different. It's interesting. It tastes like a chocolate cherry a little bit.
You know what it tastes like to me, though? It tastes like artificial almond flavor. It's artificial almond flavor. That's what it is. Like, it tastes gross. Like, I hate it.
I didn't hate it. It was fine. I'm not going to buy it again, but it was like, once I reframed it as thinking of it as chocolate cherry, I enjoyed it a lot more.
I could see that.
I'll say that.
Yeah. But it's a weird flavor.
Speaking of, I have a third recommendation that is sparkling water.
Oh my god.
Ora Bora sparkling water is fucking incredible.
What is that?
It is a new sparkling water brand. I stole it from Whole Foods.
Nice.
You can steal it from there too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Your local Whole Foods. And if they don't have that, steal something else.
Yeah, steal from Whole Foods.
Fuck them. They don't have security that'll go past the door. Like, it's against their company regulations, which is, it's free reign. They'll just call the cops. Maybe you can't go in there for a couple months or mask up. Who cares? They'll never recognize you. They'll just think you're extra safe on COVID. Ouroboros, especially their watermelon mint flavor is the most flavorful fucking sparkling water I've ever had in my life. It's insane. Nice. It is it's so fucking good. They also have a lemongrass coconut that is out of this world.
Oh, that sounds
super
really good.
Lemongrassy.
I love lemongrass. It's
they have a lavender something that's wonderful. They've got a lot of great flavors. It's a little more expensive than most sparkling water, but as a treat, it's fucking wonderful. Highly recommend you.
It's not more expensive if you steal it.
That's true. That is true. It is definitely free if you steal it. Unless, you get caught and you have to do restitution or some shit, which is dumb.
Gross.
Yeah, fuck all that shit. Yeah.
Is it time for my favorite part of the show?
I think it's time for some bucket jokes.
Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke.
Ladies call me Big League Chew because I only last 30 seconds max.
Nice.
I'm opening a bar for fellow members of Antifa. We only serve Molotov cocktails.
Hey,
did you hear about the guy who was hired to catch the crew member who had been stealing equipment from the last tour of seminal white reggae band, The Police? Did you hear about that?
No,
it was a sting operation.
Oh.
Hey, my brother is planning a wedding, and I told him he should hold it near a cell phone tower, for the reception.
That sounds like a joke that came up in conversation and you were like, I gotta write this down.
Maybe. Why did Eric Clapton move his family to Hawaii?
Why?
Well, he didn't want the rest of his children to experience the fall.
Ooh.
I watched Step Up to the Streets last night. I wonder if there's a biological up to the streets.
I actually like that a lot. That was good.
All cops are bastards is actually pretty disrespectful to all the good people out there without fathers.
That's true.
Yeah. I've failed at becoming a vampire so many times, I can't even count.
Oh.
I got ejected from my secret chili society. I spilled the beans.
Uh-oh.
I'll end my jokes on this one. You know what they say? When life gives you lemons, Mark David Chapman.
Wow.
Okay, so that's all my original jokes. Now, the last couple of weeks, I have scoured the internet for the worst one-liners I can possibly find, and I have another batch of the worst one-liners I've ever heard.
This is my new actual favorite part. Of the show.
Well, I guess the segment is still your favorite segment. It's
true. It's true.
All right, so here we go. So this is Reddit one-liners with 0 upvotes or less. Here we go. Half the people say, "You're not supposed to." And the other half say, "Why not? This causes a lot of problems."
What?
I don't know. I didn't write this shitty joke, man. I just copy-pasted it, man.
Okay. All right. I guess that's true. Maybe.
Okay, here we go. If life begins at conception, where is the preconception? I've got 99 problems, but white privilege ensures that they're relatively trivial or easily worked out with a therapist.
What?
That's not how not every white person has access to a therapist.
Yeah.
That's not really what white privilege is about.
It's not. Wow.
I can't spell decentralized currency without the letters CIANS and A.
Is that a conspiracy joke?
I have there was no comments on it and in a negative upvote value. I was like, what? So I looked it up, and I was like, I looked up the letters in order and stuff like that, and like, I have no idea what this motherfucker is talking about.
Well, CIA, NSA is what they're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about. Yeah.
But I can't spell decentralized currency?
Without involving the CIA and NSA? Like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't
Exactly.
get it.
Like,
is it implying that like crypto is like a
being
scam
attacked by
created
NSA
by
and
the
CIA?
government, the American government?
I know. It's like
what?
that's the thing is like it doesn't make any sense on any level. Even if you put those fucking 3-letter organizations in there, it makes less sense.
Uh-huh.
Because at least those letters are, I think, all in. No. Yeah. No, not the S. Yeah. Those letters. That's not even correct. Like one of those letters isn't even in there. You fucking idiot. God, I hate that joke.
That joke sucks.
Anyway, so here's another one. Just read about the Greek goddess for the vagina, Clamicles. I couldn't find anything on Clitorisius, but did find Chlamydia Therius, the goddess of YOLO.
That was a true groaner. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what they're trying to do there, but it's not funny.
Yeah. It's really bad.
I like it when I can see what they're trying to do, though. And I'm like, ooh, that you made all the wrong decisions there.
They did. Here's one where no good decisions were made. If Ivanka Trump married Larry Zonka, she'd be Ivana Zonka.
Ivanka Zonka?
Yeah, Ivanka Zonka.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Funny. New motto for U.S. currency proposed by the End the Fed types. In gold we trust.
Is that the joke?
That's the joke, Spencer.
All right. Ha 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 ha.
Because they like the gold standard. They think the gold standard is...
In gold we trust, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, I never liked the Olympics. The only time I'd run 1,500 meters is when a copper is behind me.
They really say copper? That
person,
person,
like,
that person's
did
never
a Dickensian newsboy write this?
Yeah, no,
what?
that person has never run from the police.
No, like no one calls. Oh no, the coppers! They're after us. We've been hooligans again. Like,
yeah. Woof.
All right. I'm gonna have to explain the spelling on this one.
Okay.
So, if automobiles were spelled automobiles, E-E-L-S, then electric ones could be shortened to electric eels.
Is that a joke? Like, I am struggling with that.
I struggled with that too, man.
How many upvotes did that get?
Were spelled automobiles with E-E-L-S on the end.
Uh-huh.
Then electric ones could be shortened to electric eels.
You realize that's longer, isn't it, than electric car? Yeah.
Yeah. Or electric cars, but yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, I'm going to close on one I did before, but it remains my favorite worst one-liner that I have possibly found.
Okay.
Are you ready?
My body is ready.
It never gets old. Here we go. 2 women walked into a library. They cleaned it so well.
That joke is so bad.
I don't know why it's so funny. Like the thought of someone typing that in and being like, yeah, that's the one.
That's my good joke.
That's the wording I like.
What subreddit is this that you're pulling these from?
r/one-liners.
Damn. Yeah, that somebody like punching that in and being like, ah ha ha. I hope they laughed at their own joke and then submitted that. Yeah.
It's they cleaned it so well, Spencer. Where can we find you on the internet?
Spenser.zone. What about you?
You can find me at Dogvorbis, but you know what? Go to @abucketcast on pretty much any social. Say hello.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I have been Spenser.
And I have been Britain.
You've been listening to Gettin' Head,
A Bucketcast. Stay greasy, Bucketheads.
A namaste.
Due to your Zoogle flacency, I'm going to have to nibble the friggin' spagendackle back into the hellier spuckin' muckin'. Whoops.
Oh, yeah, baby.
We lied. There's one more thing.
You can't try to get laid or watch meatball. You gotta go out and get that job. What a waste of pleasure. What a waste of pleasure. What a waste of pleasure.
Hey, here we are. It's the
Hello.
Ralph Zone.
Yeah, it is.
This is the segment of the show where every week we rewrite a scene from the 2009 Bam Margera written and directed film Minghags, in which one of the characters, Ralph, is talking to his father about getting a job, and we just rewrite it to fit classic conflicts in history.
Conflicts in history. Exactly.
Yeah. Indeed. Would you like to start out with yours or mine today, Spenser?
Honestly, it doesn't matter. What do you think?
Totally up to you.
All right, we'll do mine. There's a bit of like prep we got to talk about. I got to explain this one a little bit.
Right.
Okay, so I mentioned Local H earlier today. Well, the guitar player, bass player, vocalist, kind of main songwriter guy from Local H is a guy named Scott Lucas. And apparently the band, at least according to their Wikipedia, is known for doing unusual live shows.
Okay.
And this is the part here that, and also in this time period in their history. So this is going to take place in 2007. In this time period in their history, they were dropped from their label after each album they released. So they released an album, got dropped from a label, released another album on a different label, got dropped from that label, and they went through like 4 labels in like a pretty short period of time. But so this is what it says on Wikipedia. In July 2007, Local H played an early morning show at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago at the conclusion of the Nike Rock and Run 5K race, where runners ended the race on the field.
Okay.
This is the part that's interesting. Tickets to the show were only available by spotting Scott Lucas in public and speaking the phrase, "Attention all planets of the Solar Federation, we have assumed control," directly to him. Now that is a reference to the song 2112 by Rush.
How were people supposed to know?
I don't know. I could not find more information about this, but apparently that is a thing that happened. And so my take on that is like, I'm going to imagine that a record label executive is talking to Scott Lucas about this and being like, hey, what the fuck?
Okay. Fair enough. So would you like to be Scott Lucas or the record exec?
I will be Scott Lucas.
All right. And that's the second one, right? The Ralph?
Correct, yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Da-da-da-da-da. Mo-bo-bo-bo-bo. La-la-la-la-la.
All right, let's get a voice here.
Jesus Christ, Scott Lucas. Aren't you supposed to sell tickets to your July 2007 show in Chicago through the normal channels?
There's this obscure Rush reference I need to hear from strangers.
You can't ask people to literally just find you on the street and recite a cryptic phrase, Scott. You gotta sell tickets normally.
Nah, I'm gonna wander around outside and see if anybody finds me tonight.
Scott, I'm getting tired of it. You're gonna be normal today. Today.
This is muffed up. I'm taking the day off.
Back at the label, we drop difficult artists like you. I'd like to reevaluate your contract, stupid.
You couldn't reevaluate the side of a barn.
So, when we are at the venue, you're just gonna go turn people away?
Well, we aren't at the venue yet, so there's plenty of time for fans to find me.
I can't believe your fans put up with this.
What kind of fans wouldn't want to put up with this?
What a waste of effort.
My name is Scott Lucas.
God, Scott, your weird band makes a good target. By the end of the day, you better reconsider these live show gimmicks. See this? This contract? You're getting dropped from the label, and it's gonna hurt.
Meow.
Be normal, Scott!
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Hell yeah. All right, next one doesn't need too much context. You probably heard about this before, especially if you're into wrestling. Back in, I think, 1986, right before WrestleMania 2, Jesse the Body Ventura, then a commentator, tried to unionize the WWF at the time, which is now the WWE. Vince McMahon has been very much in the news lately, so I thought I'd pull this one out because it's very relevant.
Okay.
So Vince McMahon, it just came out. He has had to pay at least 4 women in the company $12 million in order to clear up sexual assault allegations against him, or sexual misconduct allegations. Yeah. So this is just about Hulk Hogan being a tattletale on Jesse Ventura.
Okay.
For trying to unionize the WWF. You want to be Jesse or the Hulkster?
I guess I'll be
They're pretty much the same voice.
I'll be the Hulkster, brother.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, brother.
All right, so you lead here. You start this one out.
That sounds good. Ready. Jesus Christ, Jesse Ventura, brother. Aren't you supposed to be on commentary today?
No, Hulkster, I got a union organization meeting at 4.
You can't have no union meeting, brother. You gotta get that money for Vince McMahon.
No, I want to get unionized tonight.
The Body, brother, I'm getting tired of it. This doesn't work for me, brother, and you're gonna stop agitating today. TODAY.
Man, this is muffed up.
Back in the territories, we'd kill unionists like you. I'd like to do a shoot on you, brother.
You couldn't do a shoot fight on the side of a barn.
If we were at WrestleMania, I'd Hulk up and I'd Hulk out, brother.
But we're not at WrestleMania. My reputation will save me.
I can't believe that helped you make... I can't believe I even helped make you popular.
I was already popular before you even wrestled.
What a waste of the Body.
My name is Jesse.
Your position in the company makes a good target. Stop this union nonsense or else, brother. You see these lips? They're gonna tattle on you. To the boss. Meow. Fuck unions, brother.
Fuck Hulk Hogan.
That's pretty funny.
Hogan. It's kind of weird. Jesse, the Body Ventura, actually didn't find out Hulk was the one that tattled on him for like 8 years until like 1994 when court proceedings revealed that.
Huh.
And they were still friends at that point, and then Jesse Ventura just never called him again, which is awesome.
That rocks.
Yeah, we do love just dropping people for being an anti-unionist piece of shit.
Yeah, man. Fuck that. It's no good.
So yeah, that's the show.
That's the show.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, pizza pie.
Heck yeah.